Alright, what's going on, guys? Today is November 25th. I know it has been forever since I uploaded on this channel, and I do apologize for that. I actually just kind of uploaded and just didn't really upload again for no particular reason. And then I decided to just check my analytics again on this channel, and I realized that the videos I posted did really well, which I did not expect. So I really appreciate the support. And now knowing that, I am kind of getting more inspiration to go ahead and post again and post more and post consistently. So I do apologize for that. But today we got a trade recap on my 100K trading combine. I just bought this a couple of days ago after the no activation fees came out. I've got some free resets, and I didn't really see myself having to buy another eval anytime soon. But I figured with those free resets and the no activation fees coming out, I'm like, hey, I might as well buy another, buy another account. So yeah, we took two trades on the combine today. Ended up making, as you can see here, about $2,000 on the combine. No trades on the Express today, or on any of the Express accounts, because price didn't really look ideal for those accounts to be used today. So no trades on there. But on an eval, it's different. My mentality with evals is just, you're not getting anything out of trading on them. The whole goal is to pass them, and the goal is to pass them pretty much as fast as possible. So I try to trade them pretty aggressive, and I'm not looking for perfect days, and I'm not looking to be picky, not looking to be stingy with any of my trades on an eval, because at the end of the day, it's not doing anything for me. I'm not really preserving anything, and I know I can pass an eval quickly, and I know I can pass it on a first try because I've done it multiple times. So I'm not looking for perfect days. So going into today, this is on NQ. I had a bullish bias because yesterday, I'm sorry, not yesterday, 2 days ago, on the 21st, we swept the low from the 20th and closed back inside of the range. So because of this, this is a reversal pattern for me, so I'm looking for movement to the upside. The following day, on the 24th, we obviously had a lot of movement to the upside with a bunch of expansion here. And because of this, because of the fact that we expanded so much here and still closed within the range of this candle, I was expecting us to continue higher because we didn't really hit any point of interest that I expected us to reverse off of, because I am anticipating price to come up towards at least these highs here. That's what I'm looking to trade into, and we didn't do that yesterday. So today I was looking to take a trade within that direction. So the reason I didn't take anything on the Express is because usually when I want to see expansion being supported on candle 4 being the candle of today, I like to see the equilibrium of the previous day candle be respected. We didn't do that. After we created our wick for today, we did actually end up wicking through the equilibrium. So that was one thing that kind of kept me away from trading today on my Express, along with a bunch of other factors. But yeah, that happened. But it's okay because on the combine, that doesn't stop anything. So bullish buys go into today, expecting us to kind of reach into these highs. So from here, if we go to the 4-hour, I was looking for us to come down and retest one of these gaps and then have a bullish reaction off of it. Now, honestly, I was kind of expecting us to just wick down into here and then long to oblivion. But obviously that didn't happen. I can't really marry the bias too hard, and I can't try to predict the market. I just need to respond to it and have ideas of what's going to happen. So as you can see here, we reached into this gap, but we also kept pushing lower and reached into the gap down here, which is perfectly fine, because even though we didn't respect the EQ of the previous day candle, on an eval that doesn't matter. And you can see here that once we tapped into this gap down here, we had a hard rejection, very, very long wick here, which to me showed price supporting expansion. Now, usually what I like to see here for a situation like this is I would like to see price reject from this gap, come back up and close back into the range of this previous 4-hour candle, but we didn't do that, which was yet another reason why I did not want to trade on my Express accounts today. Usually whenever daily bias, like the EQ of a candle or something is not respected, that alone is not going to make me not want to trade, but it's definitely going to make me a little more cautious. And then with things like high time frame structure not really aligning in the way I want it to, combined with the daily structure not really aligning how I want it to, those two things are kind of making me think like, okay, yeah, today's probably not the best day for me to trade on my Express. It's not really high probability. It's not something I'm as comfortable with because I'm pretty picky when I trade my Express account. So today I just decided to sit out. along with the fact that market open was just really not good. There was a whole bunch of chop, and yeah, it just wasn't great. Which you'll see here because I actually took these two trades a little bit later on past market open because market open did not have much of anything. So when you drop down to the 1 hour, kind of the same story except a lot more noise, which is why the 4 hour looks a lot cleaner here. But 1 hour I was kind of expecting because I kept an eye on it once we reached down here yesterday. I was expecting us to kind of long from here and not really come back down much further, but obviously that was not the case. We did long for a little bit, had a little bit of expansion, and then obviously came right back down to retest this gap, rejected off of that, retested this gap, and then pushed even further to retest this gap, and then we finally made our way up. So here I was almost kind of going to flip my bias. I was expecting us to be kind of bearish on the day just because of all of this bearish momentum we had, and it didn't really seem like we were going to make a move back to the upside anytime soon because obviously, as you can see here, this is the 9 o'clock candle going into market open, and the next candle after that too, the 10 a.m. candle, we had a lot of bearish movement all the way down to the downside. So I wasn't really expecting us to be able to catch any longs today, which fortunately we did. But yeah, so I saw that we came down here, had a hard rejection candle. Usually whenever there is a rejection candle, I'm expecting us to respond with a reversal. Now, like I said before, with the 4 hour candle, I was wanting to see the same thing here, which is ideally for us to come down, reject from our point of interest, and then close either above this wick here to be back in the range of the previous hour candle, or at least back within the range of this candle, because this is, a bit of an important level because it is a high time frame swing. So I was expecting us to close back in there to have the confluences for longs. Didn't get that, so that even further solidified the fact that I wasn't going to trade my Express account today. But gonna say it again, the eval is never safe. I'm gonna trade that whenever I feel like I see something decent, because rules can be broken and bent a little bit when you're not trading in Express. For me, at least, that's just my personal philosophy. This is not financial advice, by the way. So yeah, that happened. I saw that we had this rejection here, so I was kind of expecting us to long from this point. We obviously didn't because at 10 o'clock we had more bearish momentum, but we had like a complete, pretty much indecision candle here because we had, the tiniest body here. We basically closed right where we started. So after seeing a hard rejection here and then this indecision candle here, even though the 10 o'clock candle didn't sweep the low of the 9 o'clock candle, I still anticipated us to make a reversal to the upside just because of the way this candle closed. So obviously to me that's not necessarily enough to just take longs, so I wanted to see a little bit of a confirmation of that on the lower time frame. So going into between the transition of 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I was then looking for longs, which we did end up getting. So I have my execution shown here. So you can see that we had a lot of chop here. Originally I was looking for an entry around this area, but because of all of the noise here and the barcoding we were doing, there isn't much to see here, not much to operate off of. So I took a break, I walked away, I let the chart do its thing because I figured because today was a bit of a news heavy day. We had news at Red Folder at 8:30 and then Red Folder news at 10 o'clock. So with those two things being almost back to back, I was not really surprised that we were chopping around. Usually it does that after big news. We kind of consolidate for a bit and then end up expanding and making some real moves. So then I decided to just walk away, let the chart do its thing. I figured around 11, 12 o'clock it'll probably pick back up again and then start moving a little bit, which is usually what it does, and it did do just that in this example here. So I saw that even though we were consolidating, we were kind of making our way up here. We were overall pretty bullish. You could obviously see the trend going on here. And then here around this area is when I decided to take a look at the charts again because, like I said, I wanted to look at 11 o'clock. So once we had that hourly close at 10 and I saw that indecision candle, I was kind of expecting us to have some expansion because usually after consolidation that is met with expansion because we're pretty much just accumulating liquidity to then continue moving. So after that, I was looking for us to expand on the 11 o'clock candle. So once 11 o'clock hit, I went ahead and took a look at the charts again. And I saw here that we had a small change of state of delivery right here. CISD with the closure above the two bearish candles right here. Obviously, that wasn't necessarily enough for me to enter off of because, like I said, there was a lot of chop. There's a lot of quote-unquote changes to the deliveries that I could have entered off of. So I wanted to wait for a little more confirmation. For me, that is a change in state of delivery followed by a protected swing. So we got our change in state of delivery. So what I want to see from here is more movement upwards, of course, completely outside of this consolidation range, and then a protected swing, which is exactly what we got. So after the change in state of delivery, we kept coming up. We got outside of this consolidation range because here's about where the top of the consolidation range was for me. So I wanted to see us break out of there. And then of course you can see here after we took the high of the consolidation range, we did short off a bit, but we closed still pretty bullish. So I wasn't too worried about it. So after we swept that high, we came back down, of course, because it was I guess, a key level or an important level of some sort because it is a swing high. So we reacted off of it, came back down, but it's cool because we continue up after respecting this gap. Now I actually was looking for entry here, but what I usually like to see for an entry is an opposing candle, a candle that closes in the opposing direction of the trend that I want to trade in. So in this situation, I'd be looking for a bearish candle followed by a bullish candle closing above that bearish candle so that I can enter. And then I would have, if I entered off of this, I would have put stop on the low where we retested the gap. But of course we didn't get that, so I decided to just be patient, wait a little bit more, and see if I can get an entry. If not, it was all good. Price is just going to leave me. It happens often. It's okay. But I wanted to get at least somewhat of a good entry. Even though I'm on an eval, I still want to have some sense when I trade. So here I saw that we came up. We created a little swing low right here on the 5 minute. So I was looking for was for us to run that low out and then make our way back up, which is exactly what we did. We created a low. Right after, we took this high, had a reaction off of it, which caused us to short off and then take the low that I had my eye on. And once we took the low, exploded up with a really long candle here. So after we had that closure, I decided to then enter on the next candle. So I put my stop at the low here, which is where the protected swing is. And then I believe I took TP to like a 1.5R because I had it at like one of these highs here. Yeah, I took it to about around this high here. And then, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I messed up. I didn't have the low on the, or I didn't have the stop loss on the low. I had the stop loss on the body low just because of how hard we closed to the upside. Like, it was really aggressive candle. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, usually when I trade with the type of trades I take, they either win really fast or lose very fast, or I'll enter, they'll chop, and I lose. Most of the time, I know that if I'm going to win, I'm going to win quickly because my trades work the best in periods of expansion. So when I saw this very aggressive candle to the upside here, I was expecting us to, of course, have good moves and good expansion to the upside. So I didn't feel the need to put my stop all the way down here because in my mind, if I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong. Price is just going to come all the way down. So I might as well minimize my loss by tightening up the stop here because if price is going to expand, I'm not expecting it to retrace this low at all. So I decided to put my stop on the body low, took my TP to about where this swing high is, and then rode it out for just a few minutes, and it was a pretty easy win. So super simple. Pretty much my strategy that I trade on my Express accounts. The only difference is I didn't have the high time frame structure that I wanted. Otherwise, I would have taken this on my Express, but obviously it wasn't there, so it's no big deal. So then I decided to call it there, but I then looked at the charts later on just to see if we continued rallying higher, which we kind of did. We had a little period of consolidation here, and then we manipulated out of the range and then distributed, of course, just basic AMD. And I think around here, like 2-3 o'clock is when I decided to look at the charts again, and I kind of saw this, that we had a consolidation period, manipulated out, and then started making moves back to the upside. So of course I am then looking for another opportunity for longs because I also know that once we get kind of closer to market closing, the volume tends to pick up because we are in a kill zone, I believe. And I also noticed from here that we had this hourly candle. This was actually really good structure for a reversal. This is exactly what I like to see. We came down, took the previous hour low, closed back in the range with a long wick, and we still did not take that previous hour high. So I was, of course, expecting price to make a move at least back to this high here of the previous hour, or the high up here, or maybe somewhere else that we could target. So with this higher time frame structure, I'm just looking for lower time frame entry at this point. Now you might be asking, because I got the high time frame structure and a low time frame entry, why didn't I enter my express? The only reason why is just because I don't usually trade this close to market close. So I didn't really want to break my rules here. Most of the time I try to stick to trading between the hours of like 7, 8 a.m. all the way up until like maybe 11, and then just kind of call it there if I don't find anything. So I just decided to stick to my rules and stick to the combine, and ended up working in my favor. In hindsight, maybe I should have traded on the express, but at the same time, I can't get mad at myself for following my rules. So it is what it is. But yeah, I saw that we got this hourly reversal structure here. So from here, I'm just looking for my entry. This happened at 2 o'clock. So then I dropped down to the 5-minute. Look at what was going on around that period of when that candle was being formed. And I saw that right here at 250, we created a change in state of delivery, which is about perfect timing to catch a long off of the next candle, because at this point, all I'm looking for is a protected swing. So here we got our change in state of delivery. We moved a little bit higher here, and then we had a bit of a move down here after reaching around this area where this high was. We had a little bit of a move down, which is absolutely perfect because that gives me an opportunity to get in. We retested this 5-minute gap here. And then, of course, like I said before, what I like to see is a candle that closes in the opposing direction of the trend that I'm trying to then catch. So we had two opposing candles here. So we had a bearish candle here, which helped create the fair value gap, along with another bearish candle that dipped into the gap. So then on the next candle, what I'm looking for is for us to just, come up and then close above these series of down close candles to then get a protected swing for me to answer off of, which is exactly what we did. So we came up, we closed above, and from here, I should have taken my entry right here. The only reason I didn't was because I just wasn't looking. I wasn't paying enough attention. So I had to kind of improvise. So what I ended up doing is I set a limit buy for the area in which I would have entered, which is exactly why it shows my execution being right here. So I set up that limit buy, and then I put stop on the protected swing because the move wasn't too big to where I felt the need to put it at the body low. So I just put it at the protected swing all the way at this low here, and then I took it all the way somewhere up here. I think it was about a 2R. Yeah, I targeted these highs. That's what I was targeting. Sorry, I'm trying to remember as I go. This was a while ago when I took this trade. But yeah, I decided to just take it up to these highs because I wasn't sure if price was going to move any higher. I didn't really see any obvious targets on the higher time frame or anything, or even on a lower time frame around this area. So I didn't want to take it any higher. So I just decided to not be too greedy, too stingy, or I'm sorry, not be too greedy, and just take a little bit of a base hit of 2R. So this actually worked out perfectly because the stop and the TP aligned absolutely perfectly where I can get a nice risk to reward. So this ended up working out nice. Maybe I should have held just because I was on an eval to secure a max profit for the day to kind of get halfway towards passing. But it's no big deal. We still secured 2K on the day, which is really, really good. So that's nothing to complain about. And then hopefully we can do the same tomorrow. Maybe even a little bit more so we can get really close to passing the account because I'd like to get this account passed in 3 days. 3 to 4 days. Ideally 3 because the sooner the better. But yeah, that's the trade recap. If you guys have any questions or suggestions for me to make these a little bit easier to understand, just let me know. If you guys want videos on psychology, on my strategy, anything like that, just let me know. I'm not the biggest expert in the world. I'm not the best trader in the world, but I am willing to give help where I do know things. So just give me feedback in the comments. I'll read through them. I'll respond to them. And then, yeah, I do plan to start posting trade recaps again consistently. So if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be awesome. And yeah, that's all for today.